Hey everyone, it's Marty. Getting comfortable here. Welcome to the live show on Facebook, Wednesday Wisdom. My name is Marty Forrest. My website is Hello Extraordinary Life. Check out that site. On the landing page, get your free guide, 3 Steps to Reprogramming Your Negative Self-Talk. It's amazing ebook that gives you lots of tips and tools about reprogramming our self-talk. And I wonder if it's working. Let me put my headset on because, that might not have even recorded a lot because I didn't have it on. So hopefully you got all that. Hello, Extraordinary Life. Check it out on the landing page. Get your free guide. I know I'm repeating myself. Anyway, today I am talking about what is your why? Hi Stacy, often we go through life and we forget or we don't know why we're doing what we do or why we're here on this planet. What's the purpose of being here and being a human being? And I've had that question for a long time. Really, what is the why? Why do we do things that we do? If we get involved in a project, if we get involved in a job, sometimes it's a short term, it's a means to an end. That's our why. We do something for a paycheck. But what's the bigger why beyond that? Because if we're only making a paycheck, that's usually, for many of us, not enough. And when we get derailed or life sidetracks us or distracts us or we get triggered by something, then that why is probably not going to sustain us and keep us going the direction that we know we're supposed to go or we're obligated to go in. I have found when I enroll someone in the why I do something or why I would like them to join me on my road or on my path or to help me with something, when they know the why I'm doing it or why you're doing it, then they're much more willing to come along than if we simply just present the question of, can you help me? Or would you like to come along and donate to my cause when they have no idea what the cause is or why it's important to me? How do we get to the why and how do we stay focused on that when life keeps happening? Life happens every day. And some days I sit in front of my computer and I get really frustrated and I'm so not tech savvy at all. And all that does is provide frustration for me. When I remember why I'm doing it, part of it's to learn something new. But the bigger part right at the moment is to get my book published. That's my bigger why. And that's what keeps me going forward. Otherwise, I'd have been like, F this, I'm done. So when we can remember the why are we doing something that's important to us? What are your core values in life? Why did you have children? Right? We want to contribute something to the world, usually. And when we get frustrated, I'm thinking about as a parent, when you get frustrated as a parent, you look at your children and they're doing something that you just go, oh, what was I thinking? And then you remember why you had children and why you love them. And that makes it easier. I struggled with this for a while and I read this book called Start With Why. And his name is Simon Sinek, Sinek. I wanted to know, how do I get to my why? Which is more what I wanted to talk about today. He gave a lot of evidence about why it's important to start with why. I never really got, how do I get to that place? How do I get to my why am I here? Or what's my purpose here? Why am I doing this live weekly show? Why did I start doing a daily dose? Why did I write a book? Those are the things that drive me. But what's behind it? The why is what's going to keep me going toward it. Not always the how it's going to happen. but the why I'm doing it. It took me a while, and maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you don't know why. Maybe you don't know your why yet, or maybe you don't know your purpose here yet. I knew for my whole life that I was a healer. I could tell you that all day long. I'm a healer. Then I got to define that about where do I apply that, because it could be anywhere. Healers can be anywhere. And then when we're overloaded or we're trying to help everyone, then we really get nowhere. So then it was about, okay, no, I know I'm a healer. And then where do I focus that energy? Why do I do these calls every week? I do these calls because I have a message to get out there, which is part of my healing, part of the journey. Why do I coach people? To help them navigate on their insides. Because I know how hard it was for me. And I wanted to be able to help people, I'm getting emotional about that, travel that road inside a little easier and a little less complicated than I made it for myself. That's why I do it. And it's why I'm so passionate about it. So it's usually something that you're very good at. Like, I know Charlie bakes amazing, extraordinary cookies. Phenomenal. And I know Stacy loves to mentor other people. These are two people I know really well. They're on my call. It's a natural thing that they do, and they love to do it. I have a friend who just started at 50 massaging. She went back to school to become a massage therapist because that was always her dream, was to help people. And that's an avenue that she chose to take on and help people. Why? Because she's passionate about it. And it's sometimes it's a calling. Maybe we don't even know the why per se, but our heart is drawn there, and we constantly navigate or gravitate toward something. For her, it was massaging. Maybe for other people, it's traveling. Maybe it's traveling and then sharing your life experience as you travel and see the world. Maybe it's about inspiring other people like me so that it doesn't have to be so difficult. And the reason that we want to know the why is so it keeps us going when we start doubting ourselves, when we get triggered by someone, when someone's a naysayer. When I know why I'm doing something and why I'm passionate about it, then I might get derailed. You, any of us might get derailed for a moment or two or three. Sometimes days, we get derailed. And then we remember why. Because if we don't have a why, there's nothing at stake. There's nothing that's going to propel us to have momentum to go forward. So how do you get to why? It's usually what you're really good at naturally. What comes natural to you? What do you love to do? What do you lose yourself in and have no thought or no concept of time while you're doing that thing? Some people it's drawing, it's artwork. Some people it's meditating. Some people it's just sharing their experience. So those are some of the clues about why you're here and why you do what you do. What makes, I had to think about it for a moment, what makes your heart feel full? From the inside out, this something that just, it like pulls you. And maybe you can't even say what it is or why it is that way. For some, it's just that calling. You just know that that's what you're supposed to do. I can know that all day long, but if I let my fear get in my way, I'll stop. I knew for a long, long time that I was supposed to travel this particular spiritual path and do this particular ceremony For years I knew this. And I went, nope, no, absolutely not. I'm not ready. No, spirit, not going to do it. It took years for me to come out of that. And I couldn't tell you why. I didn't know why I was supposed to do that. I just knew I was supposed to, and it was super, super uncomfortable. And sometimes that's a clue. When we get super uncomfortable about something, that's the avenue. When it came to writing a book, I'm finally done with it. And I'm working on the publication of it and finding the cover for it. And when I get derailed and I forget my why and I get frustrated, because I do that almost every time I get on the computer, quite frankly, I walk away so I can clear that energy, clear that space, and then I come back. Because it's important. And that took me 15 years. 15 years. I found a journal. Someone had given me a blank journal for me to write my book. And it was dated 2004. Why am I supposed to write this book? Because I have a message. And it's important for it to get out there. But the fear got in my way. All kinds of fears that we're all very familiar with. Oh my God, am I going to say something that someone else hasn't said? That's a big one. Oh my God, I'm going to be seen. Yes. But I'm seen every day. I'm seen here on this video. I write every day. I've been doing a daily dose every day. So it's not like I'm not seen when it comes to black and white writing. And then I remember why I do it. And I still, at times, it's not 15 years now. It's been only since January, once I started writing. So remembering the why we're doing it. Charlie, why do you bake cookies? I love cookies. And I love the love that you put into your cookies. And Stacy, we've worked together many times. So just the love and the care and the compassion that you bring to the table, that unconditional acceptance and the reception. You receive it. So I can see those things about others. I can't always see them about myself. And when I can remember the why, and I suspect if you can remember when you remember your why, even when we want to quit, it becomes almost impossible. Have you ever had an experience? Someone is sharing and they're so passionate and they're so excited about why they're doing this charitable event, let's say. You're inspired by their why. And how many times have you said yes to helping them live their why, see their why achieved when you really didn't have time? And maybe in hindsight, you didn't really want to, but you were so inspired by why they were doing it. And it spoke to something in you that you went along and helped them anyway. And the how all worked itself out. So we get inspired by someone's why. You get inspired by my why. I get inspired by your why. And all the other reasons don't really matter. I get inspired because it makes you feel inspired. And you get inspired because it makes me feel inspired. And that's what keeps us moving. Are there days that we feel like quitting or we feel like not doing it? Absolutely. When we have people that are naysayers in our life, stop telling them. I told 4 people the name of my book. 2 loved it and 2 not so much. My coach said, stop telling him the name. So I did. I stopped telling people the name of the book until it's published. So when we know that we know who they are. That's how I'll say it. We know who they are, the ones that are going to not be supportive. Stop telling them what you're up to. Or you just get so inspired by your own passion that it doesn't matter what they think. That's not always the case when we're just beginning. So look at your core values. What's important to you in your life? What makes you lose time when you're so focused on writing or drawing or baking, or you just time, and then all of a sudden you look and, wow, what happened? And where did all that time go? Those are usually the things that drive us to feel passionate, but they also lend to our why. Often we complicate things. I don't know about you all, but I can really complicate things. And I want it to be this big monumental thing, even though that terrifies me, my purpose. But maybe you don't know what that is quite yet. It's often something really, really simple. I was working with someone, and hers was to share love in the world. It's that simple. Now, that can take many forms. When she gets derailed, as we travel through the emotional healing, which comes, the derailing can come often, and we can forget for quite some time. So I tell you, put things in place that remind you. For her, it was wearing a bracelet to remind her. It had something that said something on it to remind her that she's here to spread love in the world and to be love. When she remembers that, all the other little petty stuff just kind of falls away. And then she chooses in favor of that, being love. And what does that look like? And how does that manifest? All that part comes secondary to the, oh, I'm here to be love. Then those hows and the other parts just kind of fall into place. For some, it's, I'm here to share love and joy through my cooking or my baking. It's that simple, and we can often complicate it because we think it's supposed to be this big, convoluted, wordy thing, and it's, keep it really simple. What is the thing that makes you feel so much passion inside that there's no room for anything else? It's usually something that comes very, very natural. How many of us, people love to come and talk with us because we create that safe space for them? So maybe that's somebody's purpose here. I create safe space for people. So it's really that simple. And those are the whys that keep us moving forward. And then those just overlay into whatever we take on in our world. If we volunteer, if we're doing something for charity, for our business, whatever it is, the purpose and the why, they intermix, and they become a joint, lack of a better word, purpose. Keep those things to remind you what that is for you. I have a picture on my wall right now. It's been there for a few months now. Has my name, has a picture, and it says bestseller on the, I don't have a title on it. I didn't put the title on it because I didn't have it at the time. But it's up there and it says bestseller to remind me why I keep doing it, why I keep writing. And no matter how frustrated I get, I come back to it. So no matter how many times you get derailed and you feel like you fell flat on your face, or somebody says something that I know we've all had people who just say something, and it confirms any doubt I already might have, and that can just totally lay me out, which is why my coach told me to stop telling people the title. Pretty simple things, but we forget because we get so excited and I want to share with everyone. And I heard someone yesterday say, I didn't want to sabotage it or jinx it. And she had just signed a deal on her first home ever, buying it herself. She didn't want to tell anybody until it was all done. I knew because I'm her friend, but in that whole process, she didn't want to advertise it to everyone for that reason, to have anybody that might be a naysayer or put their experience in it. So it just seems to be where human nature takes us. So what is your why? I would love for you to share in the comments. What is your why? Then I get to hold that for you and inquire of you as you travel your road into your why. And I can support that and pray for that. So anyway, I'd love to see some comments or anybody have any questions? I can only see a little emoticon, so hopefully there's nothing that got put up there that I have not seen yet. That's what I have for today. Make it great. Remember your why so you stay on track when you don't want to sometimes. All right. Remember to go get your guide, 3 Steps for Reprogramming Your Negative Self-Talk, on the landing page, and I will put the link in the comments. Also, on the landing page of helloextraordinarylife.com, I'll put the link in the comments so you can go there and get it. And make it a great week.